I thought the best way to kick off my first 12 days of anime would be to start at the beginning. I got the idea from the lovely Talia, who filmed a similar video earlier this year. And Christmas is story time. My name is Kristin, this is StaLK, and now let me tell you a story. It's actually a fairly simple one that has been kind of an on-off thing over the years, which apparently is now more on than ever because I feel so inclined to talk about anime on the internet. I started watching anime because it was there. Back in the day, almost every German TV station had this kind of kids program. Everything was dubbed in German and it was on when I came home from school. Most of them were adventure stories that had some kind of Western appeal, like a lot of the shows from the World Masterpiece series. Besides those, I remember a lot of sports and music themed anime, so pretty much like the series I enjoy nowadays. A show that has been brought back to my attention lately is Sora, as the character designer is the same man who is responsible for the character designs in Gundam Thunderbolt, which will air on the 25th of this month. I remember being very fond of the main character Diego. I haven't changed in that regard in one bit. Even at the age of 8 or 9 I started collecting fictional crushes. There was this Twitter tag a while ago in which you had to name 3 of your childhood crushes, which seemed impossible for me to do because I had more like 3 per show. And there are probably a lot more I don't even remember. To me, the most memorable of the shows from that time is probably Rose of Versailles. I still think the character design is gorgeous, and Oscar being strong and independent left such a huge impression on me. Going back to all the series nowadays, I also realized how similar the sound design is. Whether it's a real saber or a laser one, doesn't matter, they sound exactly the same. Until a couple of years ago, I wasn't even aware how old Rose of Versailles actually is, but 1979 definitely explains the bell bottoms. I watched it again several times, even nowadays, and I still really like it. If you want to watch it, you can do so on Crunchyroll. I can't because it's one of the rare occasions where I can't handle the Japanese dub because I'm so used to the German one. When I think about it, a lot of the shows back then had strong female lead characters, like the girls from Kaze, for example. Not only were they super awesome spy-like thieves, they were also so mature and pretty. Being a child, I always thought I wanted to be like them when I grow up. Meaning super awesome and pretty, not a thief. Of course I wasn't aware back then that these shows were animated in Japan, because you don't care about that kind of stuff as a child, and it was also quite hard to figure out. As part of the localization process, a lot of the Japanese names were changed into English or German ones. The first time I came across the term anime was when Sailor Moon, Pokemon and Dragon Ball became popular. Remember, I grew up in a time when the internet wasn't a thing. Magazines covered the shows and those origins. They had tiny tutorials on how to draw anime figures. They talked a little bit about Japanese culture, cosplay and so on. Although I had the Pokemon games, I was probably a bigger fan of Sailor Moon. I collected everything, the art books, the manga, fan books, those collectible stickers. Remember when that was still a thing? After that, Digimon came out, Kamikaze Kaito-Jan, Case Closed, Ranma 1/2, Dragon Ball Z, Inuyasha. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Beyblade and Naruto were shows I wasn't really into. And I also never understood the card game. At that time, a lot of my friends were boys. That changed when I had to change schools. My new friends weren't into that. Let's just say puberty hit me and things got complicated. As I underwent a hardcore punk rock phase, I decided to throw all of my childish stuff away. These are decisions no 14-year-old should be allowed to make. Not only is some of the stuff quite valuable nowadays, I just really wish I still had it. Teenagers! I found my way back into it a few years later through a friend, who also got me into World of Warcraft. Thanks for that. I think we had this very cliched chat along the lines of, anime? But that is only for children. He sat me down, we watched Elfen Lied, and surprisingly I had to change my mind. After that I watched Wolf's Rain and Neon Genesis Evangelion. While I fell in love with Wolf's Rain, I couldn't really get into Evangelion and dropped it after a couple of episodes. I only came back to it this year. At that time, probably around 2008, TV stations stopped airing anime completely and availability became my biggest issue. Some shows were on YouTube, which was handy because that was where I hung out. Illegal streaming sites are super annoying, and torrents are a thing, true, But growing up on the countryside with very slow internet, that wasn't really too attractive of an alternative either. I met some awesome people when I started an internship who recommended me series, and also around 2012 had to realize that YouTube is not only a place for cosmetic tutorials and comedy, but also offers an entire community interested in anime, when Dominic introduced me to That Guy with the Glasses and J.O.'s videos. From there I discovered the Potaku crew, Abby, Ellen and so on. Having people giving me advice on what is worth spending my time on and what is not also helped to really get me back into anime. And now I'm here too, if people want to have me, that is. Since 2014, when Crunchyroll and Netflix officially became available in Germany, anime consumption has gotten a lot easier. I'm not a fan of any type of physical media anymore. They are stupidly expensive, you either have to go out and buy them or wait for them to be delivered, either way takes time, and they take up a hell of a lot of space. To be fair though, with new publishers entering the market, things are getting a lot more attractive than they used to be. I now live in a country that is getting a physical release of free, including the new movie. Yay! A lot has happened, and if you had told me 4 years ago that I would start building Gunpla and buying figures, I would have most likely laughed in your face. I regret nothing though and have now one more expensive interest to balance. Honestly though, anime is one of the most versatile art forms we have, and I'm glad I got back into it. The only thing that bugs me is the constant complaining about how everything used to be better 15 years ago, because it wasn't. Looking back, I am amazed how far we have gotten. I appreciate the hard work people put into this thing I enjoy so much, and I can't wait to see how this medium is going to develop over the next couple of years. Tomorrow we are going back from the past to the present, starting with my favorite characters of 2015. So if you're interested in that, then don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.